Hello, and welcome to the Comox Valley Agricultural Plan Update Engagement Sessions. This presentation is a re-recording of a presentation that was provided at 4 recent engagement sessions in May 2023. The 4 topics surrounded land use, emergency planning, water management, and business viability, and how all 4 topics relate to agriculture in the Comox Valley. This presentation is intended as an overview and introduction. Then there are 4 other presentations that can be viewed separately on each of the topics. The agenda for this presentation is to provide a welcome to the overall agricultural plan process, a review of the Comox Valley Agricultural Plan objectives, a short explanation of the role of agricultural plans generally, and then a review of the previous Comox Valley Agricultural Plan, which was produced in 2002. There is also a slide that demonstrates some of the findings of the draft interim report. And then, as mentioned, there are separate presentations regarding land use, emergency planning, water management, and business viability. There are also a survey, which is a reproduction of the worksheet questions that were distributed at each of the 4 information sessions. And so this is an opportunity for you to provide your input on the agricultural plan process for each of the 4 topics, and also just generally if you have any general comments as well. There's a separate link to these worksheet questions through an online survey. We'd like to acknowledge that the Comox Valley Regional District respectfully acknowledges the land on which we gather is on the unceded traditional territory of the Comox First Nation, the traditional keepers of this land. Some of the key people involved in the Comox Valley Agricultural Plan project work is Lisa Kilpatrick, who's the Economic Recovery and Community Resilience Coordinator, and Jody McLean, who's a planner at the Regional District. There's also 4 members of the consulting team: myself, Ione Smith, Kaslin Bonner, Sydney Hinachik, and Janine de La Salle, who's with Urban Food Strategies. There's 1 goal and 4 key objectives related to the updated Comox Valley Agricultural Plan. The goal is to produce a comprehensive agricultural planning document that focuses on the CVRD's jurisdiction and provides guidance in identifying opportunities to strengthen the regional agricultural sector and also contribute to its long-term sustainability. The 4 key objectives are as follows. Firstly, to review relevant information. This objective has been completed with the production of a background report, which is also available on the CVRD's Agricultural Plan website. Then the second objective is to assess and evaluate the older Comox Valley Agricultural Plan from 2002. This was completed and the results have been presented in the draft interim report, which is also available on the website. Thirdly, is to engage the agricultural community. Round 1 of engagement was completed with interviews with close to 30 stakeholders, 2 meetings with the Agricultural Plan Steering Committee, as well as one-on-one meetings with leadership from the Comox Valley Farmers Institute, the Mid-Island Farmers Institute, as well as the Comox Valley Farmers Market Association. Round 2 of engagement is currently underway with the 4 engagement sessions on specific topics. There will also be a webinar held in June. And the final key objective is to update and modernize the Comox Valley Agricultural Plan. It's important to consider what the overall role is of agricultural planning from a local government context. Agricultural plans can do several things. For example, they can provide an overview and profile of the agricultural sector in the region, focusing both on the land use, types of agricultural activities, as well as the key economic drivers at the regional level. Agricultural plans can result in the engagement of producers and the larger agricultural sector in developing a comprehensive vision and key directions for agriculture in the region. Agricultural plans can also contain specific goals and recommended actions, which will improve and develop the agricultural sector over the next 10 to 15 years. And finally, agricultural plans set out a phased, prioritized implementation plan to bridge the planning and implementation gap. In updating the agricultural plan, it was important to do a full assessment of the previous plan to determine what its strengths and weaknesses were. The previous agricultural plan was completed over a 2-year timeline from 2000 to 2002. The 3 key parts to the plan was a history and resources section, issues and opportunities section, and then the identification of the plan itself with specific actions. However, only about a third of the actions were implemented. There were actually 100 actions and 33 were implemented. That is quite a lot of actions compared to the average agricultural plan. And what was found was that the main reason why a lot of the actions were not implemented is because they were directed to be led by jurisdictions, agencies, or organizations that were outside of the scope of the regional district itself. So a key finding there was that the jurisdiction of local government is important when crafting these recommended actions. Interestingly, the 6 themes that were the core of the agricultural plan from 20 years ago are still relevant and important within the agricultural community today. Those 6 themes were water management, land management, environmental stewardship, agricultural business, food security, safety, and quality, as well as awareness and promotion or education. A draft interim report was created, and that also included some of the findings from the background report. The background report includes a review of historical as well as pre-colonial food production, a section of relevant Comox First Nation agriculture and food production as provided by a contractor from Comox First Nation. It also included a review of the biophysical context of the region. So everything from weather, soil, water, and other resources that are pertinent to farming. It also included an agricultural profile and the economics overview by taking into account Statistics Canada's agricultural census from 2021, BC Assessment's property analysis and farm tax status in detail, as well as the province's agricultural land use inventory for the region. The background report also included a set of opportunities and challenges specifically related to the biophysical and socioeconomic context for the agri-food sector within the valley. And then some initial findings were presented in the interim report, and that is based on some of the engagement that was conducted. The findings include the fact that the sector in the region is very passionate about agriculture and agri-food, as well as issues related to land use, water management, climate change, emergency planning, and business viability within the sector. This level of passion, interest, and skilled education can sometimes lead to a divergence within the agricultural community around key issues. Secondly, it was found that there's a great amount of market and retail diversity within the sector. Some farms are selling only locally, some farms are selling only off the island, and there's lots of room in between for food processors and food producers to be selling at various levels of the geography of the market, and that diversity helps to build resilience within the sector. Thirdly, key concerns that were identified and addressed by the community are around climate change and water management, specifically concerns around drought, water storage, and wildfire risk. Fourth, an issue that was raised quite a lot was also that farmland protection remains top of mind, and there's concern about edge planning and conflicts potentially between farmers and non-farm users of land in and around farmland. And lastly, that new entrants or people who are new to farming and the food sector must be supported. And that's primarily because the cost of getting into this type of business is very high, and there's a need for mentorship and other resources for those who'd like to get involved. So that brings us to the end of the introductory part of the engagement sessions. Hopefully this information has been useful in addressing some key concerns or questions that you may have. However, you're more than welcome to contact me at any time. My email is ione, I-O-N-E, @uplandconsulting.ca, and my phone number is 778-999-2149. Please take advantage of the other 4 presentations that are available as separate files, and then feel free to answer the worksheet questions that are available through the online survey. Thank you very much for your interest in the Comox Valley's Agricultural Plan update.